Okay, so cool. We're on the Insurance 101 call. So what we're going to talk about today is basic sales training. And this call is going to go over the process of the sales. Okay. So we're going to start from the very beginning when the call picks up and go all the way to the end. So the sales process works like this. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to share this document with you guys. Now, let me PDF it first, and I'm going to just share it in the chat for you guys so you guys can take a look at it as well and just follow along. So give me a minute. Let me put this in here.
And guys, hey, while he's doing that, we got people all over there. If you would just drop the state where you live. Let's see where everybody's at. I know I see some Michigan. I see out west, South Carolina, Nevada. Got some Cali, New York, Michigan. Forget those Michigan people. I'm one of them. I'm just kidding. Awesome. Awesome. Texas, California, another Michigan. I think Michigan's kind of taking it right now.
Michigan has a lot of people there.
There
awesome. I just shared it with you.
Cool.
Awesome. So we got people from all over the place here. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm here right in the dead center of America, right here in Omaha, in case you guys didn't know. So, okay. So I shared that with you. If you guys can open that, follow along. The process works like this. There's a process to every sales situation out there, right? If you're in door-to-door sales, there's a process to the sales. If you're in roofing sales, there's a process to it. Insurance sales has a process to it as well. So what we're going to do is just kind of go over that process to kind of help you guys understand the steps it takes to lead a person down the path to help them understand what they want, right? Because if you can kind of just lead them along, then it helps them to understand how what you are selling them, what they requested is going to benefit them. Okay. So if you look, what is the sales process? Well, the first part, obviously, we have to introduce ourselves, right? And when we introduce ourselves, we're going to start the rapport building process. Now, some people think that you don't have to build rapport, but here's the reality. If you're going to buy something, who do you want to buy from? Do you want to buy it from your buddy, your friend, or somebody you don't know, right? If I had a car for sale and I wanted to buy a car, sell my car, who is the first person I'm going to go to? Probably somebody I know, right? But if I put it on Craigslist, it might take a little bit longer to sell it. But if I were to go buy a car, I could have more of a chance of buying a car from somebody I know and get a better deal, feel more comfortable with the sale if I buy it from somebody that I know, right? So we're going to start the introduction process and start with rapport building, just talking about anything, right? It doesn't even have to be if you're doing in-home. A lot of times what I would do is I knock on the door, I'd walk right in the door and I'd look at a picture on the wall and I'd say, hey, nice family you got there, 4 kids. Yeah, you just start talking about something that doesn't have to do with insurance. And when you do that, it kind of breaks down the wall, right? What's the weather like out there? That's a really easy one to talk about, right? Then right away, if you're doing telesales, you want to kind of get into building credibility right away, okay? Because on the phone, they have no idea who you are, right? In person, they can see you, they can feel your spirit, they can talk about, they can, feel the type of person that you are, right? They can read your body language. On the phone, they can't see any of that. So you have voice inflection, you have the space in between your words. If you're in a hurry, if you're talking fast, you're kind of anxious, you're going to make them anxious, right? But if you're talking low and slow, kind of like a radio host, but real low and slow, they may calm down a little bit, right? So credibility. What can we do to build credibility? Well, if you're online, what I would do is if you have a link to a website, if you use Zippo, they build websites for you. It's a small little one-page website that would have the link to producer verification website. In there, you can put all your states in there. They can click on the state. They can open it up. They can see the states that you're licensed in. What I like to do is send them that link, and then I'll have them open that so that they can see a picture of me. And then I kind of break down the wall a little bit by just kind of making a joke about myself. You know, I'm bald-headed. My last name's Simpson. I kind of look like Homer Simpson. I just don't eat as many donuts, you know, something crazy like that, just to get them to chuckle, right? The more times you're going to make them laugh, that's also building rapport as well, because if you make people laugh, they're comfortable with you. How many times have you ever been to a comedy show and you laugh your rear end off? What else are you thinking about? Nothing. All your problems go away, right? So if you build rapport and kind of make them laugh, tell small little jokes, it's going to break down the wall for them there too. So send them the link. The other thing that you can do if you don't have Zippo or don't have a website, what I would do before I had the website is I would put together a folder I'd save it on my computer, and I'd have all the states, and I'd have a folder in there with a picture of me, picture of my family. Doesn't even have to be professional. Can just be a picture of me. And you can literally send that over to them with a copy of the license of the state that you're calling them in. And then what I would also send them is a picture of all the carriers. And I'd make them open that up. And the reason why is because, for one, I wanted to build credibility. Number two, I also wanted to know, can they get in their email? Because if you're going to do an application over the phone, you want to make sure you don't want to get in the middle of the application and they tell you, well, my email doesn't work, or I don't have email, or I don't know how to use computer. So I'd make them get right into the application or the. You muted me out, Josh. No problem, brother. Thank you. So I'd make them get right into the email, and I'd say, okay, what do you see? And they'd say, okay, I see a picture of you. I see a picture of your state license, and I see a picture of the carriers. It also gives me talking points to kind of go over and explain myself, right? I'm licensed in the state of Nebraska. If you look at the top left corner, that's my license number. That's basically my social security number for my business. So now you have a little bit of personal information about me. And then I tell them to open up that little flyer of the carriers. I'm partnered with about 20 to 30 A-rated carriers nationwide. So it allows me to shop around for you, customize something that best fits your situation, your needs, but most importantly, fit your budget. Okay. So now it knocks all the other salesmen out, right? Because I'm doing the one shopping around for them. I'm the one that's going to customize it for them pertaining to their needs, their budget. And so then now I have the credibility, right? So that's how you build credibility. Then what you're going to do is find the need. Okay. Now, Mrs. Jones, most people fill these out because they want to add some coverage onto what they already have. Or sometimes I have clients that don't even have coverage. What were you thinking about? Well, I was thinking about adding some coverage on. Okay, so that means you already have coverage. What do you have? Do you have a term policy, or do you have a whole life policy? You're finding out what they want, or what they have, what they need, right? Now, how long have you been looking for coverage like this? Well, not very long. I just filled out the ad. I just filled this out, sent that in. Okay. What made you think about doing it right now instead of earlier? Well, this person died, that person died. Usually it's because somebody in their family or a friend of theirs had passed away recently. And that's when you can play on that, okay? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you can find out, what kind of stresses they went through. Oh, my cousin died. Okay, dang, I'm sorry to hear that. How much did they have to pay for the funeral? It was about $15,000. Okay. Usually they're about 12 to 15,000, but I've had some people say that they're buried their loved one for 16,000. So you can kind of play on those words. So I'm assuming that you don't want your loved ones to go through what they went through. No, no. Who would be the one picking up the pieces for you if something like that were to happen? You see how I'm digging down, finding the need? Because when you pull out the pain points, now all you're going to do is solve a problem. That's it. Throughout this whole thing, you're going to solve a problem. So when you ask them, who would be the one that's going to be picking up the pieces for you if you didn't come home tomorrow? They're going to give you a name. Now that name is going to be part of the sales process the whole time. It's probably going to be my daughter, Jennifer. Okay. So what does Jennifer do for a living? She works at Walmart. She's a front end clerk. Oh, okay. Does she have a family? Yeah, she's married. Any kids? Yeah, I got 3 grandkids. Okay, perfect. So I'm assuming, and I may be wrong, I'm not sure how much money front end people make, but if she were to had to come out of pocket for a funeral or a cremation or something like that, that might just be a little bit of a burden to her. Yeah, probably. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here for you. Okay, now you found out the need, right? You found out the pain points. Now you're going to explain the process to them. This is really important. By a show of hands, your actual hand, not the one on the computer, how many people have kids? Okay, so a great many of you guys have kids. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If their bedtime is 8 o'clock and all of a sudden 8 o'clock rolls around and you're like, okay, it's bedtime. You got to go to bed. Do you guys get a fit? You get a little bit of fussing going on. I know I did when I told my kids to go to bed at 8 o'clock, but here's the opposite. If it's 7 o'clock and you say, okay, you got about an hour to bedtime, just letting you know. And then all of a sudden 7:30 rolls around and you're like, okay, half an hour left. You got about a half an hour till bedtime. Can you go brush your teeth? Sure. 7:45 rolls around. You got about 15 minutes. Why don't you just sit down, relax, calm down a little bit, okay? Sure. 8 o'clock rolls around. All right, it's bedtime. Okay, good night. Give me a kiss, blah, 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 blah. And off they run. You don't get as much of a fit, right? Because you're letting them know what's going on, what's going to happen in the near future. Same way with the explain the process step, okay? If you explain to them what's going on down the road, chances are you're going to get less objections when it comes down to the social security number, the bank account information, about them buying a policy, about you submitting a request. So I put in here my exact verbiage of the way I do it. You guys can use this. You guys can change it. You guys can put it to where you want. But once I find out the need, I'm going to tell them what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to take about 5 minutes. I'm going to ask you some finance questions, some medical questions. From there, I'll have an idea of which carrier may qualify you. Then what we need to do is get you in front of the carrier because they have no idea who you are. By doing that, we need to submit a simple request to the carrier. Simple request to the carrier. Now, notice voice inflection, right? Notice how I use tone of voice. I'm not going to say a simple request. I always slow it down. We're going to submit a simple request to the carrier. I want them to understand that it's simple, right? And so I focus not on the word request, but on the word simple. We're going to submit a simple request to the carrier. From there, in that request, they're going to ask for 2 pieces of information that by law they kind of need to ask for. One of them is a social security number. They use that to verify who you say you are and that you're not taking out insurance in somebody else's name. Okay. They also use that to make sure that if something happens to you, that money goes to the right person. That's pretty important, right? And they're going to say yes. Right? Now I just got another yes out of them. I'm getting yeses along the way throughout the whole process. Okay. Then I'm going to say the second thing that they're going to ask for is a banking institution or a credit union to be on file, like an account number or a routing number. Now, this is really important. I'm not just going to say, like a banking institution or credit union to be on file and then move on. I always say like a bank account or an account, like a routing number or an account number. And the reason why is because if you don't include those last two things, they may think they can just use a debit card. And if you get into an Americo app and they only have a debit card or a credit card, you're going to have to change carriers. So you want to know that right up front. And so you want to tell them, look, the other thing that they're going to ask for is a banking institution or a credit union to be on file, like a routing number and account number. If you are approved, because if you say that, now if they don't have it, they're going to tell you, well, I don't have a bank account. Okay, cool. Then you can address it right then and there before you get down the road, right? Then you're going to say, if you get approved, usually it takes about 2 to 7 days to find out if you get approved. If you do get approved, then at that point in time, they're going to take that first payment, and then you're covered right away without peeing in a cup, doing a blood draw, or a medical exam. Pretty cool, huh? What do you think they're going to say? Yes. And then you open it up. If you are going to get the objections on the bank account, the social security number, get it right now. Get it right now before you even get into the application, right? Address the situation right there and then move it on. And so the next question I ask them, are there any questions on that? And the chances are the answer is going to be no. Okay. Now, later on down the road, if they do give you an objection on it, you can say, I did explain this earlier, that's what we're going to do. That's what they're going to ask for. Right. Okay. So from there, then you're just going to go into the financial inventory. You're going to ask all the questions on the financial inventory. And the purpose of it is to determine which carrier may qualify them. Okay. That's the whole purpose of it. You want to find out which carrier may qualify them. And then the other purpose, the secondary purpose, is to find out what their budget is so that you can kind of have an idea of how much they're going to be willing to spend on their policy. The rule of thumb is about 10% of their expendable income, right? So if they have $4,000 in income, $3,000 of expenses, they have $1,000 of expendable income. So the rule of thumb is 10% of that is what they will spend on a policy to protect their family. Okay, that's the rule of thumb. Now, some people will want to spend less, some people will want to spend more, right? That's your job to find out what will cover them. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is build the value of the policy. Okay, if you go through a Americo CBO policy, and you're going to tell them, hey, you got 100% death benefit, 100% critical, chronic, and terminal. And if you outlive the policy, you get 100% of your money back. It's going to be $248. What do you think they're going to say? They're going to be like, let me think about it. I'll call you back, right? But here's the deal. If you build the value and make it seem like it's this big, like it's the best thing since sliced bread, then once we get to the next step of price conditioning, you're going to make that price seem like it's super duper small. Okay, so how do you do that? Let's take a whole life for an example. Okay, Americo Eagle. Okay. It's a whole life policy. They have one living benefit, but the way you have them see all of the benefits, think about it. There's some people that are visual learners. They use their ears to learn, and then they have to touch and act to learn, right? Some people can read and they can learn, but I make them visualize it. I want them to see everything that they're getting, right? So I tell them, grab a pen and paper. I'm going to go over all your benefits. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example with an Americo Eagle right now. Okay, they'll go up to $40,000. Okay, so write down $40,000. Now they got $40,000 written on their paper, right? And I'm going to say that's the face amount. That means if you die, Bertha, your husband, Billy Bob, is going to get a tax-free benefit check from Americo. That's going to save you a bunch of money right there that is tax-free, because sometimes savings accounts are you have to pay inheritance tax on. So then underneath of that, write down 50%, write down terminal illness, 50%. Okay. What that means is if the doctor says you're going to die in 12 months or less, you can withdraw 50% of the policy while you're still living. Pretty cool, huh? Yes. Okay. Underneath that, write down accidental. Now check this out. I'm getting them excited, right? I'm using words, verbiage to get them excited. Check this out. This is one of the only policies that if you die in an accident, Americo says you can double your policy. So you're actually going to get double. So right next to accidental, write down $80,000. So now picture what they're viewing. They're seeing death benefit 40, 50%. And then they're viewing $80,000 all written down in a list on their paper. Okay, now the next one is common carrier. Now, Bertha, this doesn't happen very often, but if you do die in a common carrier, bus, plane, train, anything you pay a fare for, your beneficiary is going to get $120,000. So write down $120,000. I'm using voice inflection to get them excited, right? Emotion creates motion, right? You get them excited, they're going to get excited. Now they're seeing 40, 50%, 80, $120,000. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is have them write down level premium. Bertha, you probably heard of those policies out there that if you were to every 5 years that those policies go up because of your age, sometimes your health, right? Well, guess what? This one is never going to go up. If we can get, I'm going to take it away. If we can get you approved, okay, if we can get you approved, you're 69 years old right now. When you're 75, guess what? You're only going to be paying on it as if you were a 69-year-old. Pretty cool, huh? Yes. And guess what? Whole life coverage. Write down I'm sorry, cash value. Cash value. This policy builds cash value. Another word for cash value is equity, right? You're building equity in the policy as you pay on it. Pretty cool, huh? So later on down the road, as it has enough cash value in there, you can actually borrow from that policy, meaning that if you want to, I would recommend not to borrow from the policy, but if you need a $500 to put down on a car for a down payment or something like that, you can do that. Just borrow from yourself. There's no questions asked. You don't have to fill out a credit form or ask any questions. You don't have to give your bank the credit forms, nothing. You're borrowing from yourself and you can just pay yourself back. That's pretty cool too, huh? Yeah. Awesome. So now they have a whole list of things on their paper of benefits of a whole life policy. The other benefit is this is going to cover you for the rest of your life, so you never, ever, ever have to apply for anything again. I know this is a process. It's probably not something that you want to do. Sometimes it's like buying a house. But guess what? This is the last time you're going to have to do this, because all we're going to do is submit a request to see if we can get you covered. Then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay. Now, price conditioning. Price conditioning is important, right? Now you built the value. It's way up here. We're going to talk about price conditioning. When you guys get price conditioned all the time, but you have no idea that you get price conditioned. How? You go into, let's say you go into JCPenney's or I don't know, Walmart even, Target, right? You go into Target and you're like, I got to buy a cheap shirt. You know, I just need it to go out and look nice for one day, and that's it. And you're shopping around, and all of a sudden you see this rack and it says these shirts are $69, but they're on sale for $49. And then there's a big slash and it says today only $39. And then there's a big old red tag on it that says clearance $19.99. Now, if you're my wife, you'd probably buy the whole rack, right? So you got price conditioned, right? You see the billboard signs that say, you know, homes in this area, in this neighborhood for $350 slash $299, right? That's price conditioning. So we're going to do that nonchalantly with the client. There's a few different ways you can do that. So a lot of times what they'll do once you find the need, let's say they have a mortgage, let's use final expense. Let's say that they're looking for $15,000. You can say, okay, what do you need the $15,000 for? Well, I need it for my burial. Okay. I'm not sure if you know this, but a lot of times in our when we die, there's a lot more other expenses than just the burial costs. A lot of times there is, you know, hospital costs. Sometimes people put bills or prescriptions on a credit card. I'm sure you wouldn't want to leave those behind. Most of my clients want to leave a little bit of extra behind to pay those off. Usually we estimate about $5,000 in for that. And then you can say, how many grandkids do you have? 4. Okay. Have you thought about leaving any extra behind to the grandkids? The reason why I ask that is I have some clients that want to leave $2,000 behind for grandkids, and I have some clients that want to leave $5,000 behind for grandkids. No, I'm not leaving anything to those rugrats. Okay, cool. So now we're at 20,000, right? But if they said yes, we would just add that upon there. Okay. Now, let's say I'm going through my pricing, I'm going through the app, I'm giving them, I'm at the pricing stage. And now what I'm going to do to build the value, there's a couple of things. I might tell a story of a previous client that I had. Let's say my client right now on the phone is 69 years old. So I may say something like, look, hey, I just got a guy covered with the same policy this morning. He was 74 years old. And his policy, I know you don't know him, so I don't have to worry about the HIPAA laws, but his policy was about $426. And just let it sink in for a minute. And then say, don't worry about that. You're a lot younger. Not only that, you got something against us. You're a female, right? So it's going to be cheaper for you. Then what you can do is you can say, okay, so most of my clients, I know you're looking at 20,000, but a lot of my clients are surprised at actually how cheap these prices are. So sometimes they want us to just start at the max value. And if they can't afford that, we'll just kind of work backwards from there. Okay. Is that kind of what you were thinking too? Yeah. Okay. So give them a price at 40,000. Now this works in your benefit because at 40,000, they're not even looking for 40,000, right? So, but at 40,000, let's say it comes out to $329. You know, that's going to be out of their budget. That's okay. You're not selling them a policy that they can't afford. So now you get to become their advocate. Look, $329 I know is out of your budget here. Why don't we go down to 20,000 and see what that is? Okay. 20,000, that's going to be $216. Okay, great. So I'm price conditioning, right? Now from there, I'm going to go straight into H, deliver the price and close the deal. Okay. And how do we close the deal? There's 2 different types of closing the deal. One of them is a 3-price multiple choice close. And then the other one is top down, right? I like to do top down. That's what I'm doing right now with you guys. So top down works like this. 40,000 is $329, right? But I know you can't fit that in your budget. So let's go down to 20,000 and see what that is. That comes out to about $216. And then what I do is I shut up for a minute, right? First person who talks loses. And if they say something, they're usually going to say something like, okay. If they say, okay, what are you going to do? You're done. You don't say anything more about it. Just continue on with the application. Okay. The next page is, now I'm on the banking page here. Where do you bank at? Right? You just move on down the road. No more talking about it, right? The other thing you can do is if they say, no, that's kind of too much for me, or they may say, what's 25? Now you can say, okay, would you like to go down to 15 or do you want to see what 25 is? Multiple choice. Well, how much is 15? 15, that comes to 198. Now I'm going to close them. Multiple choice close. Do you want to apply? Look, take it away first. Look, we don't even know if you've been approved, so you really don't have any choices until you get your foot in the door and become part of the club. So do you want to apply for the 15 or do you want to apply for the 20? Well, let's apply for the 20. Zip it, move on down the road. Okay, we're at the banking stage here. Where do you bank at? Boom, you move on down the road. Now, the 3-price multiple choice close works something like this. You'll build the value, and then you'll price condition them a little bit, and then you're going to say, I'm going to give you 3 prices. Grab a pen and paper. 40,000 is this price. 30,000 is this price. 20,000 is this price. Most of my clients pick the one in the middle. Do you want the one in the middle, or do you want to go for the one above or the one below? That's a multiple choice close. Okay. What I try to do is just fit it into their budget. Okay. I find the need and then fit it into their budget. Simple as that. So that's the sales process right there in a nutshell. Everybody's got that PDF right there. Okay, we're going to do some role play right now. We got about a half an hour left. So I'm going to pick 2 people to do a role play. One of them is going to be the client. One of them is going to be the agent. Is there anybody that wants to step up to the plate? Sam? Okay, Sam, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
All right, you can be the agent. Who wants to be the client? Kasha, I've seen your hand go up. Okay. Go ahead, unmute, Kasha.
I hope you're ready, Sam.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
It's okay. I'm a nice old lady. Don't worry.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. So, guys, listen up to these 2. Kind of follow along, figure out where they're at in the sales process, right? Kind of follow the steps and figure out where they're at. Then at the end here, once they're done, this is an even playing field. There's no judgment here, right? So I want you guys to put in the comments something that they can work on and something that they did great, okay? And you guys can do that throughout while they're in the middle of it, or you can do it at the end, okay? That way they can see the comments. Okay, take it away, guys.
Do you want us to start at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Popped out. Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Kasha.
Yes. Who is this?
Hey, Kasha. This is just Sam. Sorry, I was just getting back with you real quick between appointments. It looks like you sent in a request to my office a couple months ago looking for info on the state-regulated life insurance programs, and it's just showing unresolved in my system right now. So I'm kind of assuming we got lost in the sea of spam calls. Have you been getting a bunch of spam?
Yeah, kind of. What's this about again?
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That happens a lot. Again, this is about that state-regulated life insurance program that you sent that request in for. So, okay. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That happens a lot. You know, I get hit with a bunch of spam myself. I'm actually the manager for the area. So my job is to get that info on out to you and hopefully get you set up with something or point you in the right direction. You got 5 minutes right now and a pen and paper nearby?
I'll have to find one, but how long is this going to take?
Should only take a few minutes, and unless you have some questions, but usually it's pretty quick.
Okay, hold on. Gerald, can you grab me something? Okay. All right, I'm ready. What do you need?
All right, thanks. And is this the cell phone, Kasha?
This is.
All right. So I'm going to be sending you a link real quick. And if you could go ahead and click on that, what it is it's my verified page. And that allows you to first off see a picture of me, which, sorry, you got to see my ugly mug, but you know, it isn't what it is. And next, what you'll see on there is all the carriers that I work with. I'm licensed with over 30 different carriers, so I get to do the shopping for you, so you don't got to talk to a bunch of different people. All right.
Okay.
And as you scroll down that, you'll also see my state license number. and also a drop down where you can verify me. So you see that I've gone through all the background checks and I'm not just some random crazy person calling you on the phone. All right.
I hope not.
I would too. So now that you got that pen and paper right in front of you, is this the first time you've been looking for some life insurance, or have you been looking around for a little while to add on or just get new coverage?
I've been looking for a little while, been thinking about it.
Okay.
But there's just so much stuff out there. I didn't really know. I've been seeing stuff on the TV and hearing ads, and Sally down the road said she got that that $9.99. So I just wasn't sure. So I figured I'd fill out something on the Facebook.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't hear do you already have coverage, or are you just
No,
looking to get
nothing
something?
right now. I think I have something with the bank, with the credit union.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can talk a little bit about that as we go on. So I guess you start now, just to kind of recap, you started now because, your friends have been getting stuff and it's something that you've kind of been putting off. So you figured to get it.
It's been on my mind, and I've been hearing about it more and more, and I'm certainly not getting any younger. So it's
Okay.
just one of those things.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to be more than happy to help you out with this. So, if something happened to you yesterday, who would be picking up the pieces today?
My husband, Gerald, and my daughter, Sarah.
Okay. Sarah have any kids?
She does. She
Okay.
does. 2 kids.
All right. On 2 grandkids. That's got to be fun for you.
Holidays are a little crazy around here, but we hang in there.
I believe it. All right. So then if I'm hearing you correctly, you want to make sure that, God forbid something happens to you, that Gerald's not going to be stuck with trying to foot that bill, because, it's tough as is having to deal with that loss. So I'm sure it's probably, yeah. So, well, what we're going to do then, so I can help you out here, is I'm going to ask you about 5 minutes of some finance and medical questions.
Okay.
From there, I'll have an idea of which carrier may qualify you. And then we need to get you in front of that carrier, because they have no idea who you are. And by doing that,
said no medical question, no medical.
Yeah. So when it comes to no medical, that means we're not going to have you, going down the road and to pee in a cup and get a blood draw. This is all going to be nice and simple for you.
Oh,
But yeah. So like I said, we're going to have to get you in front of them though, so that they can see if you qualify. And it's, like I said, it's just going to be a nice, simple request to the carrier. And in that request, they're going to ask for 3 pieces of info that they need. First one's going to be a driver's license number. Make sure you're not on the run from the cops. That wouldn't be you, right?
I sure hope not. They haven't caught me yet.
All right. How about Gerald? No, I'm kidding.
No, that was years ago. We don't have time for that now.
Okay, perfect. I won't tell anyone. Second one is going to be a social security number, and that's simply so that they can make sure that the money goes to the right person and that they're looking at the right person when they do the MIB, because that's how we get past the blood and urine samples, is they go check your MIB, which is, what you have your doctor write in every time you go to them, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. You tell me.
Yeah, well, that is what they do. So, and then the third and final thing is going to be a banking institution or credit union to be on file, like an account number and a routing number. And if you're approved, usually takes about 2 to 7 days to find out if you're approved. But if you're approved, then at that time, they'll take out that first payment and you're covered without having to pee in a cup, do a blood draw, or a medical exam like you want to avoid. All right.
Okay, now, Sam, I am on a fixed income. I just need you to know that. I heard some of these outrageous prices, and, I'm just not trying to take food off the table.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. And that's, again, why I'm going to be asking those finance questions, so that I can make sure that, I'm not going to recommend something outrageous to you. And, when it comes down to it, we just want to make sure that you can afford it, because worst thing is that we get you something you can't afford. And, You end up
Right.
stop paying on it, and then you're right back to square one. So
Right.
we'll get you taken care of, Kasha.
Okay, I had a friend, she was paying on a policy for years and then, something came up and she just couldn't pay for it anymore. Now that policy's gone. All
Yeah,
that money
absolutely.
down the drain. So I
Yep.
know it's got to be something I can afford.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. I've had that happen to some people I know as well. Very front of my mind. So we're going to get you taken care of though. All right. So let's get into these questions.
And if it's good, then maybe, we can talk to Gerald another time. Okay, Sam?
Perfect. Love to help you out with that. So let's go ahead and get on into these questions. Smoker, non-smoker, run through it all. All right. Do we want to throw anything wacky in there for this? I need to understand.
I think we've kept it pretty wacky. I
Okay.
just have some like high blood pressure. Nothing too crazy. Let's
A
just do
little bit of the sugar at
just-
all.
Yeah, just some sugar. I like that.
Okay.
Let's just go like America. Let's just
Okay,
America
perfect.
Eagle.
So after running through everything, it looks like there's about half a dozen companies that you qualify for, but the main one that I'd like to take a look at is Americo. Have you heard of them before? It's America, but with an O at the end instead.
I can't say I have, no.
Okay, so just a quick background on Americo. They are they're one of the largest private insurers in the United States. They have 100% payout rate for all their policies. Now, not everybody
good.
can say that. So that's really good for you if you can qualify for them.
Mhm.
Another thing is they have some really nice living benefits. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to ask a couple questions here and run the RX check, the prescription check, make sure that you can qualify for that.
Okay.
Ask for the social security number. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So now while they're running this, I'm going to ask you a few other questions. And again, nice thing about Americo is that not only is it going to be a whole life policy, do you know the difference between whole and term?
I know there's that full and then there's the term. I don't know too much about it though.
Okay. So yeah, in this case, term usually goes for 10, 20, 30 years, something like that. And, that's usually something that people use just to cover a mortgage. In your situation, what I would recommend is going with a whole life. Reason being is it goes on for the rest of your life as long as you live, as long as you're able to make those premium payments.
Okay.
Additionally, it gains cash value, which is kind of like a boosted up savings account because it pays out a very nice rate for you. So you'll get some equity along with this because you own that policy.
That sounds good. That sounds better than that term stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing about this is that it has living benefits on it. So a couple of them are if you have a terminal illness, going to pass away within 12 months, you could take up to 50% of that death benefit. So let's say you have $20,000 in death benefit. You can take up to 50% of that to pay medical bills, go have a party if that's what you and Gerald want to do, whatever you want with that.
I'd go on a cruise.
There you go. And that I would be all right with that. And the other thing is that it has an accidental doubler. God forbid you pass away in an accident. What you're going to have is that policy. Again, if you're at 20,000, it's going to double to 40,000. If you're at 40, it's going to double to 80.
Okay.
And then in the very off chance, it's very rare that it happens, but if it does, and you pass away in a common carrier, which is plane, train, auto, or a bus, then it will actually be tripled. So that 20 will turn into 60. That 40 will turn into 120. So, just kind of write that down as we go along, whole life. So it's going to last the rest of your life.
Got it.
Perfect. And then another nice thing about this is going to be level premiums. So that means that, some of these policies that are out there, and I'm sure some of your friends have ran into it, their premiums start going up over the years, right? We don't want that, do we?
No, I don't want that. That happened to my uncle.
Yeah, absolutely. So this stays at a level premium for the rest of your life. Whatever you get in at, you stay at that for the rest of it. So you don't have to worry about that.
Next year, are you gonna have to ask me these questions again?
Nope. Once we do this one and done, we're going to be taken care of. So, do you have all that stuff written down, or do we need to go
Yeah,
back over some
I
of those?
wrote pays if I die. That's right, right?
All right. And don't forget, write down doubles if an accident.
Okay, accident times 2.
Exactly. And then terminal illness, 50% payout while living.
Got it. Okay,
All right. And then level premiums, big one right there.
okay. Now, is this something that's got that wait where I heard something where there's like a 2-year wait? Is that what this is? Because I
Yeah,
want
so-
something now.
Right. So yeah, that actually would be what you were talking about at the beginning of our call, that 999 was Colonial Penn policies. I'm very familiar with them because I actually used to sell them. And this is not that. That is what we are looking at is immediate coverage. So if you get approved for this, you will have coverage right then and there. You don't have to wait a year. You don't have to wait a day. As soon as they
Okay,
approve you, you have it.
okay,
Sound
that
good?
makes sense. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Make sure my Gerald's taken care of.
Absolutely. We don't want anything to go wrong for him. So, all right. How much more were we going to go over?
I think you just gotta quote me. We haven't picked a price.
Okay, right. We have to get to
Close the
that.
deal.
Close
All right. Thank you.
Close it.
it.
All right. I couldn't remember how far we were going. So,
No,
all
no,
right.
you're good. Close me.
All right. Perfect. So, taking a look at this, were you going to be doing a burial, or were you going to be doing cremation?
I'm not trying to be burnt, so no.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, do you have any clue what that's been going at? Have you looked into that stuff already?
I've seen some for 10,000, but Betty May at church said that theirs was done for 20.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, prices really fluctuate depending on the type of funeral that you want. And of course, you know
Yeah.
how inflation's been going for everybody.
Right.
It's horrible.
I
Right.
mean, the price of the finger foods, and just might bring the whole funeral cost up. So
Exactly.
hard
So,
to say.
yeah.
But
So
I know
set there.
10,000 for sure. That'll put me in the ground. And
Okay.
then maybe if we can now, if it's in the budget, then let's I would like to leave some more.
Okay. Absolutely. Were you wanting to leave anything for your daughter or the grandkids as well? Some people do like to do that. So, I just want to make sure of what I'm going to recommend for you.
If the price is right.
If the price is right. I like that game too. So let's see what we can do. So what we're going to start off at is a lot of my clients, they're really surprised at, how cheap some of this stuff is. Looking at your age and everything, I had a 78-year-old man who's a smoker. He had $40,000 for $600 a month. Now,
$600.
yeah, but you're in a lot better shape. You don't smoke, you're younger and woman, so you live longer than us because you probably actually asked for directions when we don't like to.
That is true. That is
Exactly. So you're going to be a lot better off than us. So because of that, though, a lot of my clients are surprised at how cheap some of the rates are. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start off with the maximum amount for you. And then we're going to work our way down to see what's going to fit in there. All right.
okay.
So what we're looking at for you at $40,000, I'm going to actually give a real price here.
How old?
I got it pulled up already. We're going to go, you're 67.
Okay, perfect. I was gonna say 67 too.
Perfect.
67 non-smoker America.
All right. So $40,000 for you comes in at $219.53 a month.
Okay. You said 219 a month?
$219.53 a month for 40,000 immediate coverage, level premiums, and the accidental doubler.
Okay, well. Okay, I wrote that down.
Okay. Now let's step that on down because, I know that you said 10,000 for sure. Let's see where we're kind of at with 20 or 15,000. See, if that's going to fit in the
Yeah,
budget. Which one would you rather
let's
see?
go with it. Like, could you do that for me, please? Let's see what
Absolutely.
20,000 is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I personally don't think that you really need the 40,000. Like I said, some people just like
Now,
to see
Sam,
it so
let
they
me
know.
ask you, if I were to do 20 today, what if, something changes in the future? Could I add more, or am I stuck with this?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. If you got coverage today and you ended up wanting to increase later on,
Mhm.
you have 30 days to make any increases to this policy, or decreases, whatever you want to do,
Mhm.
without any additional questions or underwriting.
Okay.
Past the 30 days, that's when you would have to look at probably getting another policy.
Okay.
So that does come into play here, but do know, and this is where a lot of clients, we come back, I do a 30-day review and make sure that you're comfortable with where you're at. If you want to kick it up, we can do that just fine. But we want to make sure, like you said, that this stays in your budget and that you can pay for this. If the car breaks down, if the water heater goes, right?
Right.
Okay. So 20,000, we'd be looking at 111.66 a month.
Yeah, that's right where I was thinking, because I was thinking in my head right around $100. I think that's a good amount. I think I could put $100 towards something like this. That's something that makes sense. So 20,000, and then so you said that'd be 40,000 for an accident.
Yep. And if it happened in plane or train, something where you got to pay.
I'm not going on those.
All right, then you're taken care of there. So
Okay.
yes, it would be 40 if it was an accident. And like I said before, terminal, you have access to 50% of that.
Don't wish that upon me.
Absolutely not. Good to know though.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and, so what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to finish up with some of these questions.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead, if you can go ahead and find your routing and account number while I start going through these with you. We'll get you taken care of.
Okay.
All right. Scheme applied.
Cool.
Awesome. Good job, guys.
I really, I tried to get in character.
Okay. I
loved it, Kasha.
Okay, so drop some comments below. Let Sam know exactly how he did. Anything
I'm pretty sure I overtalked.
Anything he can improve on. Give him some good tips of what he did right. We only have a little bit of time left, so let's just do this. Let's practice setting a couple of appointments. So I'm going to call on somebody here. Michael Charles. Go ahead and unmute.
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to set an appointment?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good. Sam, since you were just the agent, can you be the client for Michael?
Absolutely.
All right. Just set the appointment, Michael. She's all yours.
Hi, can I speak with Sam, please?
This is Sam. Who's calling?
Hi, Sam. This is Michael Charles. I'm a local field underwriter here in Clark County. The reason I was calling is you sent in a request regarding state-regulated life insurance information in a quote, and my role is to get this information out to 12 to 15 people a day for a 10 to 15-minute conversation here in 89074.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that. What is this for again?
It's for state-regulated life insurance. I mean, if you're like most people, you send out multiple requests when you're looking at these things. We're kind of like the one-stop shop, like Expedia of life insurance, where we will take your information and see what's available in your zip code. These things are according to your health and your age. And so what we'll do is actually go over all of the options that are available for you in Clark County. I have an appointment available.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I'm kind of at work right now, so I don't have a whole lot of time.
Ah,
to talk
perfect.
at the moment.
That's actually the reason I was calling, so that we can sit down at a time that's best for you. I actually have a appointment available here tomorrow evening at 5:30, if that works out better for you.
Yeah, I work, 10 to 7, so
10 to
that's not
7.
going to work for me.
Okay, well, I mean, we do have a couple of appointments here on the weekend. Do you do any business on Saturday? Because we can fit you in at about 12:30 on Saturday in the afternoon, if that works for you.
Yeah, I'm open on Saturdays. You said 12:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we
Okay,
can go
sounds
ahead and do
great.
that then.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send you over a copy of my card, my license, and my information, just so that you can confirm who I am. And that if you have any questions in the meantime, between now and then, please feel free to give me a phone call, and I will see you then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No, thank you, and you have a great one.
You too.
Awesome. Nice job, Michael. Nice job. Drop some comments about Michael. Let him know what he did right, what he can improve on. Couple tips, Michael, real quick, and then we'll end the call here. You always want to kind of clear the schedule first, right?
Okay.
Before setting the appointment.
Gotcha.
And always ask them before you even clear the schedule, ask them if they're married. Are you married, single, divorced, widowed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm married. Okay, great. Because otherwise, then you'll clear his schedule, set the appointment,
And then not have the
married.
wife available.
Yeah.
I
So
actually did that on the phone earlier today. It's just I was kind of nervous running.
Oh,
through
no worries. Then let's say he gets home at 5:00. Okay, what time's the wife get home? 5:30. Okay. Ooh. You can use little sounds. Ooh, I don't have a 5:00, but I got a 5:30. I can squeeze you in.
Gotcha.
Does that work for you? Because now you're super busy, right? You're taking it away. You're doing this for them. If
Yeah.
you're super busy and you only have a little bit of time, if you squeeze them in, that also tells them subconsciously that it's not going to take very long
Absolutely.
because you're squeezing them in. Look, I don't have much
And
time.
you're letting them know you're busy. You're too
Yeah.
busy.
Right. What if they say, no, that's not going to work for me? Ooh, I got like 4 appointments after that time. I think I can squeeze you in at 7:45. Would that work for you? Throw some odd number out there. I can throw you in at 7:50, right? That means at 7:45, you're busy. So if you say 7:50, now they think it's going to take 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, that's a good one there too. And then solidify the appointment. Have them write down something.
Okay.
Okay. That's how you solidify the appointment. Have them write down your name. Say, grab a pen. I need to give you my state license number as we're required to by law. Okay. If you're required to do something by law, now they're highly motivated to do it. Right.
Absolutely.
So then give them your name. My name is Michael Charles. My license number is 1234456. Now, since you got your pen and paper handy, write down the appointment. The appointment is at 7:50. And then right next to it, write down important. Okay.
Yes.
So then you seal the appointment.
There you go.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it definitely does.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that. I'm going to post these calls on my YouTube channel, and I'll send out a text and let everybody know once they're posted on there. All right, guys. We are out of time. It's a little bit, well, it is 9:00 Central right now, so we're all finished up. I really, really, really hope you guys got some value tonight, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you. That was awesome.
See you soon.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. Bye.